For the last part, we will delve into steps, concrete experiences, and lapses on the implementation of laws concerning sexual harassment. Who may file or report a complaint of sexual harassment? It could be anyone, including but not limited to a student, teacher, faculty, staff, administrator, or any employee. For any sexual harassment or gender-based harassment cases that occurred in the workplace, both in the public and private sectors, victims may file a complaint with a supervisor, human resources, or with the head of the office or the agency. For cases that occurred in the educational institution or training environment, students may report to the school's Office of Students' Affairs, to the Student Council, and even to the faculty and staff. Meanwhile, if the perpetrator is a student, the procedures will depend on the school's policies. For cases of gender-based online sexual harassment, victims may seek the aid of the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. Should the victim choose or opt for independent action, they may directly file a report in the Women and Children Protection Desk of the Philippine National Police or the National Bureau of Investigation. The complaint must be in writing, signed, and sworn to by the complainant. It also must contain the full name and address of the complainant, the full name, address, and position of the respondent or the perpetrator, a brief statement of the relevant facts, evidence in support of the complainant if there's any, and a certification of non-forum shopping. In addition, cases must be filed within 3 years from the time it is committed. Both the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act and the Bawal Bastos Law are considered landmark legislation aimed to protect women from sexual harassment. However, even with these laws, most victims do not get to see their perpetrators punished. For instance, many cases that happened in the school or in the workplace do not reach the courts because these were allowed to be settled amicably. Yet under the law, offenders must still be punished. Another example is in 2020, several stations of the Philippine National Police drew immense criticism for uploading posts stating that women should not wear shorts and report to them after being sexually abused. In the same year, an officer of the Women and Children Protection Desk failed to address the complaint of a 15-year-old rape victim, resulting in the girl dying at the hands of her perpetrators. These are reflections that law enforcers, including those at the Women and Children Protection Desk, are still lacking awareness and the proper gender sensitivity training needed to appropriately recognize and respond to the cases of sexual harassment. Now, if you know someone who has experienced sexual harassment, here are some ways you can help them. First is to show empathy to create an environment of acceptance and comfort for the victim. Since many victims or survivors of sexual harassment or assault struggle with feelings of shame, guilt, embarrassment, and faultiness, avoid being judgmental and instead show understanding towards the person. Facilitate an atmosphere that is supportive and safe. Some survivors and victims develop a decreased level of trust in others due to the degrading experience, so it is necessary to use words that the person will be comfortable with. Listen to what she says and allow her to freely express herself without much interruption. Let her feel that you are really there for her. Encourage the person to seek help when she's ready, such as counseling support or legal assistance when needed. Lastly, assist her in looking for appropriate organizations and agencies she can turn to. All this reminds us how important it is to stay vigilant, but ultimately, it should encourage us to raise awareness by taking part in the collective movement that is campaigning for an end to all forms of gender-based violence. Let's act together to create a safe environment, not only for women and girls, but for everyone. Because remember, the end to all forms of sexual and gender-based harassment starts with us.